My beloved child, stop and listen. I'm stepping right into the center of what you're facing with full authority. Not to watch, but to deliver. The quiet you felt wasn't absence, it was the build-up to this moment. I've waited for the precise second to trigger a shift the enemy tried to delay. I'm not asking for permission, I'm commanding the change to begin. The timer the enemy set has run out. The pressure you felt piling up is falling apart under my glory. What was too heavy for you is being lifted by my hand, and you will sense relief even before this day ends. I'm not hoping your situation will change. I'm declaring it will. I've issued orders in the unseen that will show up in undeniable ways. Your name has been spoken in heaven, and the atmosphere around you is aligning with my voice. Shadows that tried to gather are scattering because my light has arrived. This isn't a normal moment. This is your turning point. I'm stepping in, not because you earned it, but because I chose you for something that must happen now. This is not the time to hesitate or doubt. Don't look back. Don't try to explain it. Receive it. I've already drawn the boundary line around your pain and said, no more. The enemy cannot hold you one more second without defying my command. I'm stirring what sat still. I'm breaking what blocked you. I'm building what was buried. You may not have seen movement yet, but your atmosphere is about to testify. Hold nothing back from me. I'm holding nothing back from you. My power has entered with urgency. You are the reason I stepped in. Your faith, your tears, your surrender drew me close. Now that I'm here, you won't be the same. Get ready. Nothing around you is staying the same. Barriers that mocked you and whispered defeat are losing their grip. I've gone before you and pierced the resistance that tried to delay your breakthrough. What looked permanently closed is loosening under the weight of my hand. Even when you didn't see it, I was bending the frame of the impossible. The gate that wouldn't move has been forced open because I spoke, not with pleading, but with authority. My power isn't limited by timelines or natural limits. I saw how many times you knocked. I saw the moments you walked away thinking you missed it. You didn't miss anything. I was waiting for the perfect second to reveal a miracle that cannot be reversed. Right now, spiritual hinges are unlocking. Unseen doors are cracking open in places you cannot touch yet, but soon you'll walk through with clarity. I'm not sending you back to beg. I'm calling you forward to possess what belongs to you. There are ancient doors, family gates that rusted shut, but my breath has restored them and called them to attention. What no one could unlock and no prayer seemed to shift is yielding to me now. Watch delays fall at your feet. You'll feel the air change, conversations turn, opportunities find you, and favor flow like a river in a desert. This isn't random. This is my strategic opening, made for your steps and your faith to flourish. What looked like a wall was waiting for my touch. Now that I've touched it, there's no going back to waiting, no return to silence. Keep your hands lifted and your spirit awake. This is not a trickle, it's a floodgate, and what's behind it has been kept pure for this exact time. It's not just one door, this is a chain reaction of doors you didn't even know to ask for. I'm removing the idea of locked out from your story. Every time you said it's over, I whispered, not yet, and this is the proof. The impossible was never my limit, it was my canvas. I'm sending a command into places that treated you like a stranger. Rooms where your name was overlooked, your worth underestimated, your effort dismissed. I'm turning rejection into recognition. Where you once stood outside, I am instructing those spaces to make room for you. Doors that pretended not to see you, opportunities that stayed quiet when you knocked, are being stirred by a decree they cannot resist. They are under orders to open, to honor, and to respond. I'm not asking them, I'm requiring them. What ignored you will celebrate your arrival. No longer will your value be buried beneath being unseen. No longer will you enter rooms wondering if you belong. I'm flipping the story. What they said when you weren't there, what they assumed you couldn't do, is being rewritten by my seal on you. The seal is bright. The call is undeniable. The sound of your favor is louder than the silence of past rejection. I'm placing your name before decision makers. I'm placing your image before those who never considered you. I'm waking memories in people who forgot you were in the room. Those who dismissed you will be the first to make space for what I'm doing in you. I'm not planning a quiet arrival. I'm preparing an unveiling no one can overlook. You aren't early and you aren't late. I was preserving you from premature exposure. Now doors are trembling as my voice moves through them. They're becoming gates of transition and altars of testimony. Evidence that they had no plan to open until my fire passed through. Strangers will be assigned to sponsor your next season. You won't have to convince them or chase them. Those who once said no will be drawn to honor what I've poured into you. It's not manipulation, it's manifestation, and once it starts, it won't stop. The tide has turned. Systems are shifting. What resisted you must now receive you, not by their will but by my word. You won't need to shout to be noticed. My wind will carry your name. Even those who ignored your knock will rush to open their doors. Keep your spirit ready. Welcome is being written over places that once passed over you. This time, the door will not reject you. It will open and rejoice. The decree has gone out, and nothing can undo what I've spoken. The shift you prayed for, cried for, and waited for is in motion. This is not an idea in progress or a promise on hold. This is an executed order. I've signed your release and thundered your name across dimensions. Angels are moving swiftly, not to inspect but to deliver. You're not waiting for favor to find you. Favor has overtaken you. Things are being pulled from the fire before they turn to ash. Assignments are being rewritten for your good. Systems are bending. Time is accelerating. Nothing can delay what I've released. I'm not only reversing damage, I'm establishing dominion where you were once dominated. This isn't minor adjustment, it's full realignment. I've shifted the environment to match what I designed for you. Don't be surprised if things feel unfamiliar. You've stepped into the realm of answered prayers. I'm not letting the enemy hold the pen any longer. I've taken authorship back, writing this chapter with fire and glory. What pulled you backward will become the push that launches you forward. What embarrassed you will now lift you. What drained you will now elevate you. Even your past is coming into obedience. The timeline is aligning with perfection. I'm doing this so clearly that no one can call it accident. It will be complete, timely, and sharp in impact, so the only explanation is me. I haven't just answered, I've acted. Delays have turned into multipliers. Waiting seasons are paying interest. You're not getting back what you lost. You're receiving what was always intended in full measure with double honor and sure confirmation. The climate has changed. The cloud of response is over you. I'm reintroducing you not to your past, but to your purpose, and this time nothing will block it. Your name is echoing in heaven's momentum. The trumpet of reversal has sounded. Recompense is working in your favor. You are not being rescued at random. You are being released because your name was written into this hour. Heaven has declared it. Hell must stand down. This is the moment the enemy feared, the hour your critics denied, the time your own heart struggled to believe, and yet here it is. Your turnaround is unfolding with unstoppable force. Even as you sit, restraints around your progress are cracking beneath my word. Not by your strength or striving, but by the vibration of my authority. The kind creation obeys and darkness flees. You don't have to feel it to believe it. I speak, and generations' deep chains fall. Inner prisons you thought you'd always live with are unraveling. I haven't needed noise to make a miracle or perfection to bring deliverance. I'm dismantling bondage that stayed so long it felt normal. I never agreed with your torment. I never labeled you by burdens that tried to name you. I'm silencing them now. Fear snapping, shame melting, false identity crumbling under who I say you are. You haven't yet seen all I've set in motion, because transformation begins where eyes can't reach. What bound your peace is bowing to my presence. I've addressed the curse behind the curtain and spoken to roots beneath the ruin. When I speak, even silence obeys. Trauma that yelled louder than my promise is being hushed. The voices that said it will never change are drowned by my freedom. Chains are stubborn, but they're not stronger than me. I made time, yet I'm not bound by it. Your healing isn't scheduled for someday, it's active now. You may feel the residue of old prisons, but watch the atmosphere loosen. What held you back no longer has permission to speak. Clarity will rise where confusion lived. What felt too tangled will fall apart with ease. This is not pretend. This is me rewriting the spiritual structure of your life. Chains are breaking in bloodlines, mindsets, and patterns. I'm freeing not just actions, but identity. You are no longer a captive of what tried to claim you. You are not marked by what broke you. The chains heard my voice and broke. Not because you prayed perfectly, but because I love you fiercely. Love leaves no prison untouched. You stand in the sound of your freedom before the locks are even visible on the floor. As you step forward, those chains won't follow. They'll lie behind you in pieces you'll never pick up again. What you buried in silence, what you wrapped in disappointment and laid to rest, I never called it dead. I saw you walking away while your spirit wept. I saw hope feel too painful to hold. While you released it, I guarded it. While you mourned it, I preserved its purpose. Now I've breathed on it again. My breath doesn't only restore, it resurrects. The vision you abandoned, the dream you left, the promise you thought expired, it's stirring, trembling, rising. I didn't need you to carry it. I needed your surrender. You don't have to perform. I've already reignited the flame beneath the ashes. While others walked away from what looked empty, I remained. Now I'm unveiling what I revived in secret. The timelines you tossed, the deadlines you missed, the moments that slipped, I've pulled them into my hand. It's returning, not as before, but stronger, cleaner, unstoppable. You reached your edge. I have no edge. You thought my silence was denial. It was the quiet required for resurrection. The ground you thought was too hard is now watered by heaven. Don't be surprised when what you gave up knocks again, renewed and radiant with my fingerprints. The enemy thought he convinced you to release it forever, but he underestimated my breath. You'll witness it return, not limping, but blazing with purpose. What you stamped impossible is now labeled in progress. I never forgot the prayers you stopped praying or the hopes you archived. I saw every sigh. I have a better word and I'm speaking it now. Wake up and receive what's being revived. What others called a closed chapter, I've marked plot twist. You will re-enter places you thought were gone, and this time the ending is different. I've restructured it from the inside out. I'm not handing you a copy of what you lost. I'm giving you the perfected version of what was always yours. Don't overthink how. Don't apologize for past doubts. Step forward. Be still and notice the movement. What you gave up on hasn't just survived. It's been sanctified, and now it's alive. What looked like pause was precision. What seemed like silence was schedule. You assumed I forgot. I was positioning. Layers needed to shift, realms align, and timelines bow to my sovereignty so the release could arrive without resistance. I don't move at random. I move with perfection. No second was wasted. It wove into a masterpiece that can now unfold without compromise. I didn't delay to punish. I delayed to protect. There were things you couldn't see, weights you weren't ready to carry, battles before you weren't yet strong enough to win. So I held the promise, not to withhold, but to ensure it could rest on you without collapsing you. What others grabbed quickly, you will receive completely. What they rushed into and regretted, you will walk into with revelation. I'm not behind schedule, I operate beyond clocks. While you cried in waiting rooms, I built rooms you didn't know existed. I aligned voices to speak for you, hearts to stand with you, and paths paved in your absence. You thought you missed it. I rewrite time to match purpose. I'm not catching up, I'm commanding the moment. Everything has synced with my yes. Your spirit is ready, surroundings ready, and manifestation free to emerge. Don't call it late, call it loaded. What's coming isn't just an answer, it's a convergence of every promise arriving at once. It will feel sudden to you, but it's been carefully orchestrated. What looked lost in delay will be restored in overflow. I'm not racing deadlines, I'm revealing what I concealed until conditions could honor the full weight of my gift. This moment was written before your first breath. You're not here by accident. This is convergence. Nothing can stop what I've set in motion. Even what rose against you will announce your arrival. I delayed the spotlight so the stage could be secure, the ground stable, your character ready. This isn't just your time, it's your unveiling. No one can interfere with what heaven has approved. I've stepped beyond human logic. I heard the doubts and calculations that said it couldn't be done, and I smiled. Not because they were right, but because they didn't know me. I specialize in the impossible. I don't ask circumstances for permission. What they called unreachable, unimaginable, irreversible, I've taken in my hands and placed into yours. Not because of what you've done, but because of who I am. You didn't earn this with effort or fabricate this with influence. I orchestrated it with my breath. You stared at mountains and saw barriers. I saw launch pads. I don't need it to make sense to others. I only need it to submit to me, and it just did. You will see provision where they said there was none. Healing where they said damage was final. Restoration where even your own heart stopped asking. What's being released to you was never in their hands to approve or deny. It was always in my glory, waiting for this exact second. What mocked you is being commanded to honor your faith. I've rewritten the outcome. I shattered ceilings. You won't live under their limits. You are ready to hold what they said would never be seen and ready to carry what generations prayed for. This isn't a prize, it's inheritance. Inheritance isn't delivered by man, it's given by identity. You are mine, and I give freely to those I love. I'm not negotiating your miracle, I'm enforcing it. Every system that tried to stop it, every voice that tried to sabotage it, every doubt that tried to delay it, none had the authority to override my verdict. They said it would take years. I'm doing it in moments. They said it would take thousands. I'm doing it without cost. They said it would take influence. I'm doing it through intimacy. No more signatures are needed. Heaven's stamp is on it, and your hands will receive what only heaven could build. You won't just believe for the impossible. You will hold it, walk in it, and call it yours. They won't be able to explain it, and that's how I planned it. I don't need applause. I desire your trust to receive what's been waiting for your yes. They passed you by, called you insignificant, chose others while ignoring your story. While they skipped over you, I set you apart. While they dismissed your value, I designed your unveiling. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I allowed silence, not to punish you, but to preserve you. I hid you so no hand could touch what I was refining. Now I'm bringing you forward, not quietly but boldly, not in pieces but in fullness. This isn't an introduction, it's a revelation of what I've planted in you. I'm putting my light on you, not to glorify the surface, but to show what perseverance built beneath. The years they ignored are the years I invested. The pain they dismissed is the pain I anointed. Rooms that once refused your presence will be filled with your name, your testimony, your impact. I'm lighting your path, and it cannot be dimmed. I'm not waiting for their approval. I'm declaring this over them. Your name is being lifted in places your feet haven't touched yet. Your face is remembered by minds that forgot you. Your voice, once quieted by rejection, now carries the weight of my word. I'm not only raising position, I'm reversing the story. You were never invisible to me. Your silence was strength under construction. Your quiet obedience was the soil of destiny. I'm not placing you for popularity. I'm positioning you because you endured empty seasons with steady faith. The tables are turning. When you step into the next room, you won't ask if you belong. You'll walk with the authority of one sent by heaven. This isn't fame, it's fulfillment. This isn't trending, it's timing. They will wonder how you rose so suddenly, but I've been preparing you gradually where they never looked. I shielded you so you could shine without compromise. Now I lift the veil. I reveal the oil cultivated in hidden crushing. You're not just being noticed, you're being honored by my hand. This light is not for ego, it's a beacon of my glory, drawing those assigned to your voice, your mission, your legacy. You are no longer the one passed by, you are the one I've chosen to display my power through. Watch overlooked places become platforms. Watch those who never made room step aside. I've lit the flame, and the world will see what they ignored. The chaos that circled you, the emotional storms, the mental downpour, the waves of uncertainty, is losing its force under my presence. I didn't ignore the winds or the waves that tried to consume hope. I watched and I waited, not because I wasn't near, but so you'd witness what happens when I stand in your storm. I have stood, and with one breath I'm unraveling every force that thought it could keep you under. The heaviness that followed you is breaking like fog in sunlight. The storm thought it would end you, but it will be the backdrop to your breakthrough. I haven't just entered your storm, I've taken command. When I speak, winds obey, waves retreat. Lightning loses its threat. You don't need to wait for proof. The collapse has begun. Every lie that said you'd never come out, every voice that predicted you'd be buried by grief or fear, I'm silencing them. I'm not managing your storm. I'm dismantling it. What was loud will be still. You won't be known by panic. You'll be known by peace. Your survival story turns into a legacy of supernatural stillness. You thought you were drowning, but I held you up. You thought you were gasping, but I breathed strength into you. I saw the nights no one asked about. Now I respond, not with sympathy, but with power. This storm isn't being calmed gently. It's being overthrown by my glory. You won't rebuild from ruins. I'm restoring as I remove. I'm redeeming the time it stole. Exhaustion is giving way to rest. Fear is giving way to vision. You won't come out empty. You will emerge equipped. While the storm shouted, I sharpened you. While it raged, I refined you. Now you rise as one who survived what others thought would swallow you. You won't flinch at wind or brace at thunder. You'll know I speak louder than any storm, and once I speak, no force can continue. The wind heard my voice. It knows when permission ends, and I just ended it. You won't have to raise your voice to be heard. The volume of the enemy has been muted by the weight of my word. I spoke, and everything obeyed. The turbulence that tried to uproot your peace has lost its right to continue. The winds are still on their knees. The same winds that tried to push you off course will carry you forward. What shook your confidence will confirm your calling. What shouted fear will whisper favor. I'm reassigning the winds. You won't walk with a limp. You'll walk with a wind at your back into rooms you never imagined. You won't be followed by chaos. You'll be surrounded by my calm. You won't be marked by fear. You'll be remembered as the one who stood until I spoke. Even when you felt hidden or forgotten, your name moved through places you've never been. Not by promotion, but by my strategy. I whispered your name to those assigned to unlock doors. Conversations are happening in your absence that will change your presence. I'm not sending your resume. I'm releasing your purpose. You haven't had to prove yourself to those who matter. I've already introduced you where no spotlight can reach. In rooms where miracles are mapped and assignments arranged, your name has risen like incense. What they saw as ordinary, they now sense is anointed. What they overlooked as common, they now recognize as chosen. You're not behind the scenes by mistake. You're on heaven's agenda. I've spoken your identity into the infrastructure of influence. Systems that never knew you are pivoting toward your arrival. You weren't made to chase spotlights. You were built to carry glory. That's why the stage is being set in silence. I'm appointing connections you'll need to steward. You won't network your way in. You'll be drawn in because heaven recognizes your sound. Hearts are searching for what I placed in you. They'll know you by the peace you carry, by the fire you survived, by the seal I set on you. I elevate without explanation. I transfer favor with one word. You don't need to kick down doors. People are assigned to open them before you arrive. This is not about mere opportunity. It's about destiny without detour. The moments you thought were wasted were preparation. Where others fought to be seen, I declared you essential. Where others chased platforms, I handed you a throne room assignment. Don't be fooled by silence. Appointments are forming right now in your name. Angels carry blueprints with your name engraved. You're not just being called forward, you're being placed to stay. You're not passing through, you're being planted for influence. I've made you impossible to ignore, even when they don't know why. Soon what I whispered will be shouted by results only my hand can deliver. Every time you watched others be chosen while your name wasn't called, I saw you. I saw disappointment wrestled in silence. You told yourself maybe it wasn't your turn or not your destiny. But what felt like rejection was redirection. You were never outside my plan. You were deep within it. I set you apart because what I designed for you can't be contaminated by premature placement. You haven't been skipped over. You've been shielded. I didn't let your name sit in the mouths of the wrong people. I didn't let your assignment be mishandled. While others ran ahead, I slowed you. Not because you were unready, but because where you're going requires foundation. I wasn't leaving you out. I was building a stage that won't collapse when you stand on it. I built your foundation in the background, so when you step into what's next, you won't flinch, fumble, or force. You'll walk in peace, knowing this didn't come from games of timing, but from my throne. I know you questioned my silence and wondered why others' doors swung open while yours stayed shut. While you waited, I designed not just a door, but an entrance that announces you without noise. You're not late, you're different. The pause wasn't punishment, it was sacred. I didn't want you to step into a blessing you'd constantly fight to keep. I wanted to give a breakthrough no one can take. So I hid you, refined you, and protected you. Now I release you into territory prepared and marked by my hand. What looked like delay is now revealed as orchestration. You're not left over. You're the main assignment that needed extra time. Others grabbed chances. You're stepping into legacy. That's the difference. Everything that tried to convince you that you were forgotten is being proven wrong by me. You don't need noise to be noticed. I've drawn every eye that needs to see you. You don't need to explain your quiet. Your fruit will speak. I'm turning hidden seasons into visible harvest. What you called isolation was insulation, fire protected until it's time to be revealed. Your release is here, not as an afterthought, but as fulfillment. You may have mistaken the stillness for absence, but I wasn't gone. I was preparing an eruption that can't be born in noise. I pulled you from distractions and voices that diluted my truth. The silence wasn't empty, it was sacred. I stretched your capacity. I healed wounds you stopped naming. I revived breath where emotions felt paralyzed. You didn't see movement because I worked beneath the surface, pressing roots deeper, while others reached for shallow recognition. I don't build on noise, I build in stillness. I don't wake nations with clamor, I wake them with the roar that follows my hush. You weren't ignored, you were educated by an invisible curriculum. Now what I placed in you during quiet, hidden, painful moments is rising with clarity. Tears and whispers are giving way to a sound that shakes rooms. What was forged in silence is echoing in the spirit. Your surrendered yes becomes a declaration others can't deny. Your life becomes a trumpet, not for entertainment, but awakening. You won't need to announce yourself. Your fruit will carry my sound. You won't need to convince them I'm with you. Your authority will show it. I quieted everything around you so my voice could grow inside you. Now that voice is rising, and nothing will mute it. Not fear, not rejection, not old trauma. Even inner battles that once silenced you are bowing to a new sound. This isn't just a breakthrough, it's a holy eruption. What I planted in the soil of your stillness is breaking through with force no one can contain. You'll feel it in your walk, your worship, your words. What felt dormant is thundering with life. The silence was necessary because what's next couldn't grow in noise. Now that it's ready, it's loud, holy, and unstoppable. Every tear you cried in secret, I caught them. None were wasted. I stored them as sacred oil. You wept when no one understood, when words failed, when strength collapsed under weights you didn't choose. While others looked away, I drew near. When you couldn't lift your head, I leaned close. I hovered over your brokenness and made room for groans too deep for language. Now what you couldn't see then comes into view. Those tears are birthing glory. I've turned private pain into public oil. You're not rising on applause, you're rising on an altar. Groans no one heard moved heaven. Your cries weren't ignored. They carried destiny. I'm using them now. Every moment you felt forgotten becomes the oil I pour through you. The world sees outcomes. I see origins. Your origin was night seasons where faith held while your heart hurt. That endurance becomes power. That hidden fight becomes legacy. Your tears watered the ground where resurrection breaks through. You sowed in weeping. You'll reap in joy. You're not being elevated by popularity, but because you bled in silence and held my name. Your scars aren't shameful. They're sacred ink I used to write your authority. People will think your victory was sudden. We will know it was forged in pressure. You endured the crush without bitterness and the silence without compromise. Now I take what you cried over and use it to restore others. The compassion you carry cost something. The gentleness you carry was shaped in rejection. I will make your testimony a doorway for others. I will turn the place where you cried into the ground where others rise. When they ask how, you'll point to me. You cried in secret. I'm restoring in public. What's born in surrender rises in glory. You read delay as punishment, slowness as disapproval, silence as distance. But I was guarding you from harm you didn't see. I held you back not because you weren't worthy, but because the road ahead had snares hidden in wrong timing. I delayed your entrance because arriving too early would have fractured what I was healing. What looked like stagnation was separation from danger. You saw closed doors. I saw poisoned rooms. You saw lost chances. I saw traps dressed as blessings. I let people leave, not because they lacked value, but because they lacked stability for your calling. When you cried over stillness, I stood like a shield, taking blows meant for your heart. Every not yet was my, I love you too much to let you walk there now. I wasn't slow, I was surgical. I wasn't ignoring prayers, I was insulating you with wisdom. I measured the weight of what you asked and built your shoulders in secret. Even relationships that slipped away were part of my careful extraction. I won't let what's temporary sabotage what I've declared eternal. I don't build in panic. I build with precision. My delay grew your roots where others only grew leaves. You weren't behind. You were learning to move when I move. I slowed the process to strengthen the vessel, interrupted plans to preserve purpose, and paused progress so your spirit could match the promise. Now what felt like held back favor is showing itself as overflowing safety. You'll see why I waited. You'll thank me for moments I didn't give you what you thought you wanted, because now what I'm releasing is alignment. It won't crush, confuse, or break you open and leave you scattered. I waited until you were steady, until you knew the difference between counterfeit and covenant, until you recognized my voice, even when tired. This delay wasn't denial. It was a detour to deliver you whole into a space ready and safe for your anointing. I protected not just your gift, but your peace. I value your soul more than your speed. You've crossed the threshold of waiting. What stood as an invisible barrier, what held your prayers at a distance, has broken. My word is not hovering, it's landing. I have sounded the release, and no force can rewind it. The hold is lifted. What's been stored and sealed is being unwrapped. You don't need to knock. The vault is opening. You don't have to push. The gates are swinging. This isn't a drip, it's a flood. I won't tease your hope, I'll crash into your life with weight that changes the air. Delay wasn't denial, but it's dismissed. Restraint has become release. No opposition is strong enough to rebind what I've freed. I'm not giving you a glimpse, I'm giving you fullness. I didn't lift the lid, I tore it off. The season that tried to break you has no access to what I'm ushering in. You won't wonder if it's real. The peace that comes with it will be its own proof. What was withheld won't arrive in pieces. It's coming complete. Once I release what's appointed, no demon, no lie, no weakness has authority to drag it back into bondage. I'm sealing this with finality. You won't revisit the wilderness to check if it's over. You'll walk past it like someone who outgrew a room. I didn't just open the way, I destroyed what blocked it. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. The sound of its fall will echo behind you as a reminder. You're not going back. The curse is canceled. The delay is dismantled. The release is written in ink that cannot be erased. You don't need to plead, you need to receive. I'm not handing out crumbs, I'm unloading treasure. You were faithful in shadows, I'm honoring you in the open. The ache of almost is giving way to the awe of already. I'm placing you in spaces where what I spoke surrounds you. You will see what I said. You will hold what you hoped. You will walk in what felt distant, not by striving but by promise. This promise isn't fragile. This release doesn't rest on perfect behavior. It's rooted in my covenant. I chose this moment, I timed this unfolding, I declared this outpouring. Now that I've begun, there's no return to delay and no reopening of old disappointments. You've stepped out of waiting and into fulfillment, and you're not turning back. What felt like stillness is trembling with holy pressure. You can sense it. Something is shifting that can't be contained. You're not stuck, you're stationed. You're not late, you're aligned. Heaven's clock is striking in rhythm with your surrender. You're not just close, you're within reach of a move that will shake everything stagnant into motion. The pressure wasn't punishment, it was buildup. I've been gathering glory behind the veil, waiting to break it open. The countdown isn't coming, it's active. You are moments away from what I prepared in quiet. This isn't a gentle unveiling. It's a holy ignition of what obedience compressed and my timing sealed. You stand at the edge of manifestation that won't be delayed, diluted, or denied. It won't come in pieces. It will arrive in fullness, louder than every voice that told you to quit. I've wrapped layers of blessing into this moment, and none will fall short. What the enemy hoped to block is erupting beyond human control. The countdown isn't a warning, it's a celebration. You're not about to fall apart, you're about to fall into everything I spoke. Every crushing, every silent night, every surrendered yes built you for this. Seeds buried are bursting all at once, too big to hide, too fast to explain, too precise to dismiss. I'm not giving you time to brace, I'm releasing it because you're built to carry it. Don't fear the pace. Don't question the size. I made you with capacity to host what's coming. This isn't the end of something small, it's the ignition of something unshakable. The birth of legacy that won't dim. Every not yet is bowing to my now. The tension you feel isn't warfare. It's heaven stretching the earth to make room. When it hits, you won't need to introduce yourself. The move will speak for you. Your prayers formed the fuse, your praise kept the fire, your faith guarded the flame, and now the match is lit. I'm not just bringing a shift, I'm releasing a blast that touches every area of your life. This is your moment, not to scramble, but to stand still and watch everything fall into alignment under my power. You didn't understand why doors slammed, relationships dissolved, and promising paths vanished. You questioned your worth, your timing, even my hand. What you saw as rejection was me rerouting you with precision. I wasn't wounding you, I was protecting what you hadn't grown into yet. I watched others turn away without recognizing treasure. I let them walk because their absence was required for your rise. I heard every no and allowed it, not because you were unqualified, but because they were unequipped for the you I was unveiling. The pain of being pushed aside wasn't punishment, it was positioning. I used refusal to redirect your route. If they welcomed you, you might have settled. If they accepted you, you might have compromised. Rejection broke the illusion of belonging where you were never meant to remain. I allowed dismissal to spark your detour to destiny. You thought exile? I planned extraction from places too small. There was no room for my next, so I cleared it. Now the unveiling is here, not in shame, but in glory. Not in delay, but in rhythm. I never left you through heartbreak. I stood with you while you cried over empty places. In loss, I built strength, authority, and discernment. I removed dependence on people and filled you with trust in me. Now look, the unveiling has begun. What they walked away from, I am crowning. What they didn't value, I am vindicating. You're not just revealed, you're revered in the spirit. This isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving my plans were always right. I lift the curtain not to put you on display, but to reveal what my love accomplished in the dark. This moment isn't manufactured, it's holy. The pain they cause becomes the soil for your greatest bloom. Places you were cast out of will testify that I called you higher. Your absence shouted, I'm calling you deeper. Now closed chapters become stages. Every goodbye becomes a setup for glory. They will wonder how you arrived. You'll know rejection rewrote your route, and I never missed a line. This is your unveiling. Not as wounded, but as one wrapped in preservation. This hour isn't vague. I branded it with purpose and seared your name into it with fire. Nothing about what you're entering is ordinary, and nothing about you will remain hidden. I carved your name into this season like a flame that cannot be put out. That's why this can't be delayed. That's why nothing could stop it. This season doesn't belong to your past, it belongs to your destiny. This fire doesn't destroy you. It consumes what tried to contain you. Everything that attached itself without my permission is burning away. You're not walking out as a victim of fire, but as one refined in it. I've written your breakthrough into this moment with finality. The enemy knows it. Heaven knows it. Creation is leaning forward to see what I reveal through you. You've walked valleys wondering if you missed your moment, but the rough ground led you into territory marked for your rising. Now the season I lit is opening in front of you. It is unmistakable. It will carry your print. It will answer old prayers. It will touch generations, because this marking is for legacy. I've called this season unshakable because I am in it. The fire before you didn't just clear the path, it purified the promise. No more delay, no more fear. What was a distant word is now burning beneath your feet. You're not walking randomly. You're walking on promises written in fire. I've sealed it. I've spoken it. Now I reveal it, not as mystery, but as manifestation. This isn't only favor landing in your hands, it's legacy planted through your life. I'm not pouring blessing just for comfort, but for assignment beyond your years. I chose you not only to receive, but to release. Overflow isn't meant to stop with you. It's meant to run through you like a river to dry places. You are a vessel, not a vault. I'm not increasing you so you can store. I'm increasing you so you can steward. You asked for provision. I prepared a foundation. It isn't fragile. I reinforced it with every sacrifice you thought no one saw. I watched you give when you had little. I heard you speak life when your heart hurt. None of that was wasted. It built the frame I'm using to construct something unshakable through you. I'm forming through your obedience what will ripple far beyond your sight. You see a blessing, I see a blueprint. You expect breakthrough, I'm laying bricks. I'm building shelters where others will rest because of your journey. I'm turning your hardest pages into beams of strength. I'm using it all. The joy, the loss, the confusion, the endurance. Don't reduce this to one answered prayer. I'm building something multi-generational, wholly designed, not quickly rewarded. You will become evidence of my promise in motion. What I begin through you cannot be dismantled. Your life becomes a voice without words, a map without labels. You will enter rooms and shift atmospheres, not by what's in your hands, but by the fire I've placed in your spirit. I'm raising you as a living altar. People won't just see blessing, they'll feel my presence. You longed for relief. I destined you for more than comfort. I anointed you for construction. You'll rebuild what was torn down. You'll restore what others let fall. You won't need a title. Your obedience is the cornerstone and your faith the cement. I'm not blessing you because you begged. I'm building through you because you surrendered. What I build in yielded hearts cannot be shaken, delayed, or reversed. This isn't only a new season, it's a new structure, and you are the cornerstone. I see raw material for resurrection. I don't toss what's broken. I draw close to it, gather it, breathe on it, and begin again, not around the wreckage, but from within it. I am speaking life into what others called lifeless. I'm not rebuilding you as a copy of what was. I'm crafting something completely new, born from the ashes they left behind, shaped by my fire, defined by my grace. You were never ruined, you were ripening beneath the surface. I allowed the shaking, the collapse, the crumbling, because I was removing what could not hold what I was about to pour in. You saw destruction. I saw preparation. You saw emptiness. I saw room being made. The wreckage they walked away from is the place I've planted the first beams of glory. And what I'm raising here won't resemble what used to stand. It will not carry the flaws of the old frame or echo the errors of yesterday. It will carry a fresh design, heaven-authored and spirit-breathed. Even now your spirit senses the shift, that deep inner knowing that what felt like an ending was a holy threshold. You are not rising in spite of the ruins, you are rising because of them. I'm using the very dust they left behind to write my name across your life again. And this time it will shine, not because it's perfect, but because it's redeemed. What they gave up on, I'm turning into wonder. What they could not see value in, I call a masterpiece in progress. I've chosen brokenness as the birthplace of beauty, and now the rising will be visible. The rebuilding will not be silent. You won't just survive what broke you. You will be known as one who rose from it with holy fire in your bones. You are my proof that restoration doesn't mean going back. It means going beyond. So let them talk about the ruins. Let them remember the collapse. While they revisit what fell, you will rise into what I've raised. And when they look again, they won't see wreckage. They'll see the radiance of one rebuilt by the hand of the living God. They saw the aftermath of your losses and laughed. They pointed at what once was and labeled it the end. They mistook your ashes for defeat, not knowing I hid divine oil there. What they ridiculed was residue from a sacred fire. What they dismissed as useless debris is the very material I'm using to anoint your destiny. I never asked you to hide your ashes. I asked you to hand them to me, and you did. Even when you didn't know what I'd do with them, you gave me the remnants, the grief, the crushed dreams, the scorched identity. Now I'm gathering those ashes like holy dust and pressing them into something new. I'm turning the smoke of your sorrow into the fragrance of revival. Every loss that threatened to break you is becoming oil to heal others. You didn't understand it then, but every time something burned to the ground, I was setting the stage for an anointing that couldn't be stolen, copied, or diluted. This oil wasn't made in comfort. It was pressed from pain, refined through tears, and ignited in what should have buried you. That's why it's powerful, why it carries weight. This isn't shallow glory. This is sacred oil poured from the very place they mocked and the moment they said you'd never recover. Now I'm turning ridicule into recognition. They called it over. I call it origin. They tried to bury you under the ashes. I'm raising you through them. You will walk forward, not with smoke on your clothes, but with glory on your head. Your ashes are no longer symbols of mourning. They are ingredients of ministry. I am crafting a legacy out of what they laughed away. You won't have to defend it or argue for it. The oil will speak louder than accusation. The weight of what I've poured into you will silence the mockery and reveal the miracle. You're becoming a carrier of restoration, not just because you saw the fire, but because you survived it and brought me the ashes. I honor that. I multiply that. And what was mocked is being multiplied publicly because I love to use unlikely things for my greatest work. Your ashes are altar material. The fire is no longer consuming, it's commissioning. You are moving into a future anointed, not by titles or tradition, but by what I created through pain. Everything I did in hidden seasons is about to speak for itself. The battles no one witnessed, the crushing no one comforted, the obedience no one applauded. I saw it all. I was molding you in moments that never made it to anyone's eyes. I did not punish you with obscurity. I clothed you with glory that exposure cannot fabricate. I shaped you with fire, trained your spirit to recognize my whisper in the wilderness, not just my wonders in the crowd. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks. From $50 to $100. You wondered why I kept you out of view, why platforms passed you by, why your prayers for open doors were met with silence. I wasn't holding you back. I was pulling you deeper, deeper into me, into truth, into trust. And now that deep place has grown roots strong enough to carry what I'm placing on you. I did not let you be seen before you were ready. I didn't let your influence outrun your character. I allowed you to be hidden because I was writing something on your life that could not be rushed. This is not performance. This is purpose made visible. You won't have to strive for attention or push to be heard. What I built in the quiet will now radiate in a way that draws the right eyes, hearts, and connections. They won't be drawn to your image, they'll be drawn to my imprint. Your unveiling won't look like the world's promotion. It won't be noisy inflation, it will be undeniable weight. Weight that shifts atmospheres, anchors wandering souls, and turns confusion into clarity. Your life will carry evidence not of popularity, but of process. You didn't skip steps, you didn't shortcut pain. You stayed when it hurt and believed when it made no sense. I've been waiting for this exact moment to reveal what I created in the cave of consecration. You'll walk into rooms where your name was never spoken, yet your spirit will be recognized. Not because of you, but because I've gone before you. I've made you a vessel of my presence, and now I'm placing you in spaces where visibility is no longer dangerous. Because you know you weren't made to be seen. You were made to be sent. Now you're being sent on assignment. In power, with clarity, without apology. What I started in secret, I will finish in the open. Make no mistake, this isn't your arrival. It is my emergence through you. The time has come for what I hid within you to be revealed. No earthly power, no demonic interference. And no past failure can reverse what I have decreed. I did not form your destiny in the courtroom of human opinion. I did not design your future by performance, popularity, or perfection. I wrote your story in the halls of eternity, sealed it with my authority, and released it knowing every flaw, fall, and hesitation you would face. Yet I still said yes to you. I still called you worthy. I still chose to place my glory in a vessel that has known breaking, because I always choose the broken to carry what cannot be shaken. Let the voices rise, let the critics speak, let the doubts whisper. None of them hold the pen. I alone am author and finisher, and I haven't surrendered that pen to your past, your fear, or their disbelief. The unveiling I am performing will silence what tried to define you. I'm not waiting for their approval to proceed. I'm not asking permission to elevate what I formed in fire. This is a sovereign release. It will not be blocked by human resistance or spiritual warfare. Accusations that tried to cling to your name are losing their grip. I have washed you, renamed you, and vindicated you in realms the earth cannot see. I don't consult shame before I crown. I don't consult history before I honor. I don't consult guilt before I commission. I am not intimidated by what you've been through. I'm igniting it. Your mistakes are not barriers. They are proof of mercy. Your weakness is not a liability. It's the stage where my strength shines. Your jagged, delayed, messy, misunderstood journey is the very soil where I planted my word, knowing it would grow. I already factored in the storms, covered the detours, and accounted for every fall. Still, this unveiling. No betrayal has voided it, no delay deleted it, no failure canceled it, no lie can unwrite it. The stage you're stepping onto is not one you built with your hands, it's one I formed with my breath. It won't collapse under pressure, because I am the foundation. It won't shatter under scrutiny, because I am your defender. I have gone before you and cleared every voice that tried to disqualify what I sealed. Your unveiling is not fragile, it is flame-tested. It is not wishful, it is guaranteed. I don't just open doors, I anchor the path behind them. Walk forward, not as one uncertain, but as one who knows nothing man-made can hold back what heaven has finished. Nothing formed against you can override what I released. You don't see them, but they've gone ahead, assigned by my word, released by my authority, activated by your obedience. Angels are surrounding every path I've called you to walk. They aren't waiting for you to catch up to the vision. They're preparing the ground before your feet touch it. They're removing entanglements, lifting weights that would have crushed you, dismantling traps planted in secret to delay you. I have not sent you into the unknown alone. I haven't asked you to navigate destiny in your own strength. The unseen realm is active, and heaven's forces are engaged on your behalf. Every barrier built while you waited, every resistance formed while you healed, every snare laid in silence, I am overturning it before you meet it. Places that once held hostility are being softened. Systems that once denied you are being restructured. You won't have to fight your way through. You will walk into spaces where warfare bowed before you arrived. My angels are not standing still. They are clearing lanes, pushing back darkness, and making room for what I placed within you. This isn't favor that comes late. This is glory that arrives early. You'll notice things fall into place without strain. People cooperating without reason. Long-stuck things beginning to flow. That's not coincidence. It's coordination from above. I've orchestrated a rhythm where even delays serve direction. Rooms you used to pray to access are being arranged to welcome you. You will not meet resistance but readiness. Because I have sent help from heaven, not to follow you, but to lead the way. They have entered meetings before your name was mentioned, stood in doorways before keys were handed, turned hearts before words were spoken. This isn't manipulation, this is movement ordered by the King. You felt alone, but the unseen realm has never been more populated in your favor. They stand guard when you sleep. They watch over places you step into unsure. They echo my decrees when your faith feels thin. You may not see their swords, but the battle is shifting because they fight for you. Their assignment is not temporary, it continues. I haven't just sent protection, I've sent acceleration, clarity, and strength. Reinforcements are responding to promises I made long ago. This is why you survived what others did not. This is why you're stepping into what others said would never come. While some questioned, I deployed. Now you're walking paths already made smooth, not by your power, but by my presence that goes before you. You don't need to beg for breakthrough, just keep walking. The hosts of heaven have gone ahead. The shift you feel, the momentum you can't explain, the sudden clarity pressing through the fog, this is not the result of your effort. It's not the reward of performance or a product of strategy. It is my power, alive, active, unleashed, at work in your life. You've done what you could. You've stretched in obedience. But what's unfolding now has moved beyond human strength. You've reached your edge, and at that place of holy surrender, my unlimited force rushes in. My power doesn't ask for ideal conditions. It doesn't negotiate with facts, consult feelings, or measure resumes. It moves in the face of impossibility and rewrites what reality said could never be. You're about to witness this firsthand, not from a distance, but as the one through whom my glory breaks forth. I will not share this moment with pride, nor allow ego to take credit. I am stepping in with might that needs no help and authority that needs no validation. When I move, none can resist. Mountains melt in my presence, seas part at my command, chains of generations dissolve with a word. This is the power I'm using now. Not just to touch your life, but to transform all I touch through you. It's not subtle, it's not slow, it's sovereign. You won't be able to explain how the door opened, the healing came, the resources aligned, or the way cleared. You will simply know it was me. You'll walk into victories you didn't orchestrate and blessings you didn't build. The world will try to trace it back to a method, but there will be no blueprint except surrender. That's all I asked for. A heart that believed when there was nothing left to believe. A spirit that stayed soft when everything screamed to shut down. I chose your weakness as the stage for my strength. I allowed emptiness so I could fill it in a way that leaves no doubt. This is me. I'm not bringing barely enough power to help. I'm bringing overwhelming force, not just to lift you, but to carry you over thresholds you could never cross alone. I'm not activating just enough for survival. I'm releasing the kind that leaves no area untouched. Miracles will break out like wildfire. Walls will collapse without warning. Closed systems will open like gates on hidden hinges. When they ask, "How did this happen?" you'll point to my hand. This is not your doing, not your wisdom, not your talent. This is my unstoppable power, moving at the appointed time through a yielded vessel for a purpose too holy to fail. Now that it has begun, nothing can stop it. You once wore shame like a garment, not because I put it on you, but because voices around you made you think you had to. They pointed at failure, delay, silence, and used it as proof you weren't chosen, that you weren't enough, that I'd moved on. They didn't see the crushing you endured in secret, the weight you carried without applause, the depth of surrender measured by tears. I was there for every inward collapse, every brave face in public while your soul unraveled in private. They thought your fall was final. They whispered your story was over. What they called disqualification, I turned into qualification. I am reversing the narrative. I'm stepping into the spaces where you were mocked and turning them into stages where my glory will be revealed through you. I'm preparing a table not only before your enemies, but in front of those who questioned your worth. This is not revenge, it is redemption. This isn't payback, it is purpose shining through scars that refuse to be silenced. What once made you feel exposed will become proof that I was with you all along. I won't just cover your shame, I'll convert it. I'll flip the evidence of what hurt you into testimony of what healed you. Those who doubted will witness divine restoration. They'll see oil and strength and clarity, and they'll realize they underestimated what I can do with a surrendered heart. You won't defend your journey or prove your change. My favor will do the explaining. The fruit will speak louder than the failures they fixated on. Those who gossiped about your breakdown will see your breakthrough up close. I'll let them see how I crown those who cry in secret and restore those who stay faithful in the dark. And when they try to understand, the only explanation will be me, because no one can take credit for what I'm doing next. You will no longer carry shame. I am tearing it off with my own hands. In its place, I dress you in dignity and wrap you in royal identity. You are no longer defined by what went wrong. You are defined by what I redeem in full view. What they used to bring you down will become evidence of how high I lift you. It will be impossible to ignore, because this celebration won't be quiet. It will come with sound, joy, restoration, undeniable glory. Shame had its moment, but it is dethroned. This is an hour of celebration, and I have written your name into it. There were battles where you kept silent, not for lack of words, but because anything you said would be twisted. You were accused, misunderstood, ignored, and judged without cause. In the quiet, you wondered when I would speak for you. Hear me. I was never indifferent. I was waiting for the appointed time to reveal what you could not say. You didn't need to fight back. I was watching, collecting unjust words, sideways glances, false assumptions. I don't just observe, I act in due season. And that season has arrived. You won't have to chase vindication or explain your silence. I've taken your case into my hands and will represent you better than any argument. I'm not defending your pride, I'm defending your purpose. I'm stepping into the courtroom of public opinion, not with retaliation, but with undeniable truth. The truth of what I've been doing in you when they thought nothing was happening, the truth of who you are beneath assumptions, the truth that grew while others tried to write your story without knowing the author. I saw the moments you wanted to speak, but chose to trust me. That trust was not wasted. That surrender is the altar where I release justice. You don't have to make them see your heart. I will expose what they were blind to. I'm not bringing judgment to punish them, but clarity to establish you. Those who cast shadows on your name will witness the brightness of my vindication. You didn't have all the strength, plans, or understanding, but you had a yes. A trembling yes, a weary yes, a whispered yes no one heard. That yes moved heaven. I never needed perfection, only permission. In surrender, even with empty hands, I received your heart. That yes opened a door the enemy tried for years to close. It became a landing strip for promises, a legal access point for what only I can do. Now I'm multiplying that yes into things you didn't even know you could dream. You gave me availability. I'm turning it into an avalanche of divine appointments. You gave me willingness. I'm turning it into a wave of supernatural increase. What felt like a whisper has triggered a roar in the spirit. Your simple yes is being echoed in eternity and answered with acceleration. You didn't say yes because you saw the end. You said yes because you trusted my voice. That faith is rare and holy to me. It wasn't resources that qualified you or status that gave access. It was surrender. I'm filling every place you emptied. I'm enlarging the territory around your yes, not as reward, but as fulfillment of why I made you. Where you said, I don't know how, I say, watch what I can do. Moments you thought were insignificant will become markers of miracles. I've sown your yes into the soil of destiny, and now it's breaking open. Not just one door, but many. Not just provision, but overflow. You didn't need a flawless offering. Your yielded spirit was enough. From that yes, I am raising fruit that will feed nations, igniting fire that will burn through generations. I'm multiplying not only in your life, but through your life. What felt like survival is becoming a sanctuary for others. Your yes did not just move you, it moved heaven. What moves heaven is never ignored. It is multiplied, magnified, made manifest in ways no eye has seen, no ear has heard. This is the harvest of your yes, and it's only beginning. I know how the clock loomed over you, how each minute felt like pressure, how every passing year whispered that you missed it, that the window closed, that you disqualified yourself without knowing it. You watched others rise while you stood still, questioned why your moment didn't arrive when theirs did. Why your yes didn't explode into breakthrough. But time in my kingdom does not bow to earthly clocks. I don't operate by your deadlines or the expiration dates others put on you. You are not late, not delayed, not behind. You are arriving at the intersection of divine alignment, the exact second my promise collides with your preparation. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You didn't see it earlier not because it wasn't real, but because I was making you ready to carry what would have crushed others. I didn't deny the promise, I preserved it. Now, when others think it's too far gone, I will show you the miracle is right on time. What couldn't move for years will shift in a day. Prayers that sat unanswered will ignite with sudden fire. What you thought too broken will become the stage for my glory. Don't look back at missed opportunities and call them lost. Some seeds I buried for a better season, and that season is now. I'm not making up for lost time. I'm fulfilling what was always mine to give at the appointed moment. You don't need to strive to catch up. Stay close. Miracles don't flow from effort, but from my presence. I will show you how swiftly I restore, how precisely I move when I act. I'm not rushing you. I'm revealing what I held until you could receive it without fear. What others called too late will prove I'm always on time. I haven't missed what you laid down, the hidden yeses, silent sacrifices, unseen loyalty. I tucked them into this moment, and now I am unfolding it before your eyes. You will realize I never ignored you. I orchestrated a miracle so specific and personal that it required the timing you stand in now. This is not delay. This is destiny dawning on schedule. Breathe deep. The pressure to perform is broken. You haven't missed anything. You are standing in the very second I designed to unleash what's been waiting. No misstep, detour, or doubt has stopped what I wrote with fire. You are not too late. You are right on time, right on the edge, right at the door, and this miracle bears your name. There are blessings with your name on them, promises handwritten by my spirit and secured in heaven, beyond the reach of people, systems, failures, or demons. What I ordain for you is not vulnerable to sabotage. What I author is not up for negotiation. I don't place your inheritance in the hands of public opinion, nor leave your destiny exposed to those who tried to tear you down. I seal what I give, not with fragile ink, but with my eternal mark. When I say something is yours, it is final, not because you did everything right, but because I declared it righteous. At times, you feared what you hoped for might be given to someone else, that maybe you missed it, weren't strong enough, or were drowned out by louder voices. Know this, my promise is not a prize to compete for, it's an inheritance to receive. Inheritance is secured not by striving, but by sonship. You are mine, and what I set apart for you will not be reassigned. I am placing a seal around every open door meant for your feet, guarding every breakthrough meant for your hands. The timing you called uncertain is being locked into motion. My angels protect the path, and I myself stand before what I gave you to keep it pure. Counterfeits will no longer confuse you. Noise will no longer distract you. I'm drawing clear lines between what's yours and what's not. You will no longer chase what wasn't assigned to you, nor fear that what is yours might disappear. I'm settling the atmosphere around you, surrounding your portion with peace. Even in doubt, my grip never loosened. You worried delay meant disqualification, but I knew delay would make you discerning. I let you walk through not yet, so that when your portion arrived, you'd know it was me. You'd recognize it by the way peace wraps around it, by how your spirit exhales instead of battles. What's yours carries heaven's rhythm, and I have sealed it with my breath. Even those who tried to step into your assignment, even those who tried to mimic what you carry, they cannot replicate what is marked by my spirit. They can imitate the shape, but they cannot duplicate the oil. I placed something on you that cannot be copied, and set something before you that cannot be touched by deception. You won't have to fight for your place. I already fought to preserve it. What belongs to you will wait for you. What's yours is not leaving. It's being held until I say, now. And that moment is close. closer than you realize. Release anxiety. Drop fear. Stop wondering if it's too late or if someone got ahead. Nothing given by my hand can be taken by another. I am sealing it now, and my seal does not break. What once echoed with disappointment, the closed chapters, missed chances, and moments that collapsed under expectation, is being rewritten by my favor. You've looked back with regret, wondering if different choices would have changed the outcome, if more strength or a better opportunity would have spared the pain. What you called failure, I have always seen as fertilizer, soil for a future shaped by grace, not shame. I watched you carry what if, knowing I never left you in those places alone. I saw your heart break when doors didn't open, when relationships dissolved, when outcomes betrayed your effort. I never let those losses be final. I preserved every drop of pain, every lesson, every seed buried in confusion. Now I am reversing the residue of ruin with favor you can't explain. I'm lifting heaviness and replacing it with clarity and celebration. Where your confidence cracked will roar with testimony. You will look at what once embarrassed you and see it dressed in beauty. I'm not just repairing your past, I'm redeeming it. I'm not making it tolerable, I'm making it powerful. Favor is flooding the places shame tried to build a home. My favor will speak where your strength gave out. It will fill unfinished lines, broken attempts, and efforts that felt wasted. There isn't a single failure I cannot use for glory. I specialize in reversals. I turn graves into gardens, deserts into fountains, regrets into revivals. Your failure is not the end, it is the exact place my beginning ignites. You've lived under not enough, but I'm lifting that cover. I am more than enough. You've seen yourself through the lens of the past. I see you through purpose. Even your detours have been woven into divine timing. Favor will reintroduce you, not as one marked by failure, but molded by faith. You won't justify yourself or prove you've changed. The fruit will speak. Doors will open, timing will align, and those who knew only your struggle will witness overflow. I'm not making up for the past, I'm transforming it. The echoes of defeat will be drowned by rejoicing. You will say, not bitter, but in awe, what I thought was the end was the beginning of God's best. Every time you whispered, there's no way, I leaned closer. I never turn away from the impossible. I move toward it. I'm not discouraged by what overwhelms you or threatened by mountains or silence. What makes you feel small highlights where I can show up big. You saw odds stacked and felt suffocated. I saw a setup for the miraculous. What made you want to quit drew me deeper into the mess. I don't seek the simple. I seek surrendered hearts willing to say, even if I don't see the answer, I still trust you. That whisper of faith beckoned me to come in power, and I have accepted. I've hovered over the place where hope was lost. I've watched details that felt irreversible. The closed reports, the diagnosis, the drought, the shattered ties. I'm stepping in not because it's easy, but because I specialize in the impossible. I'm not afraid of what seems final, nor limited by logic. I'm the author of reversal, the creator of what never existed before. I speak into nothing and bring forth something that shifts everything. And now I'm doing it for you. I'm turning impossibility into testimony. I'm taking what you crossed off your list and making it the next to come alive. I'm not improvising, I'm fulfilling. What looked expired in your hands is right on time in mine. The miracle didn't have a window, it has a pulse. And it's beating stronger now than when you first asked. You don't need to figure out how. That's my job. Yours is to believe again, lift your eyes and say, if you're willing, I'm here. I am willing. I am able. I am already in motion. Solutions are being released that no strategy could engineer. Doors are swinging open without human handles. Assignments are being handed to you that bypass systems, so it's clear this wasn't by might nor by power, but by my spirit. The impossible doesn't scare me, it excites me. It's the stage where I show that I don't just answer prayers, I exceed them. I'm not coming by the usual route. I'm walking through walls, stilling storms, resurrecting what was buried, flipping the script in ways you never saw coming. I'm not here to meet expectations. I'm here to overwhelm them. What was never supposed to happen is about to happen because I said so. I never asked you to be flawless or to pretend you were whole. The parts of you that tremble and ache and cry for help, those are the parts I fill with strength. The world taught you to hide struggle, mask limits, and silence desperation. I am not repelled by your lack. I'm drawn to it. While others celebrate perfection, I come for surrender. While others admire power, I move in weakness. I'm not embarrassed by your dependency. I designed it. You've tried to hold yourself together, prove you're capable, and meet an invisible standard, but I never called you to carry what only I can sustain. I didn't anoint the version of you that never breaks. I anointed the you who unraveled in the quiet, whispered, "I can't do this alone," and kept going. That whisper carried authority because it gave me access. Now I'm stepping into spaces where your strength ran out. I'm inhabiting wounds that still feel open. I'm pouring glory into the cracks you thought disqualified you. I'm lifting burdens you hid behind smiles. You're not too weak for me to use. Your weakness is why I chose you. My strength doesn't rest on the capable. It rests on the willing. And you, in all your imperfections, said yes when it counted. You didn't run from fire. You stayed when everything screamed to leave. You didn't collapse under crushing. You gave me the broken pieces, and now those pieces are becoming altars. I'm building with what you wanted to erase. You won't need to cover your process or fake stability while your soul learns to walk again. I am turning every fragile part into a canvas of power. When people see you rise, they won't see someone who did it alone. They'll see someone who walked because I carried them. They'll feel something near you, not because of what you know, but because of where you've been and how I brought you out. The atmosphere around your life will shift, not because you're strong, but because you're surrendered. That surrender births a power that doesn't fade, the kind that lasts because it isn't propped up by performance, but grounded in presence. I'm turning frailty into a fire that never dies. I'm using past fragility to house present authority. You are not a mistake, not too broken. You are the very kind of vessel I choose, one that leans on me for everything. Let them count you out and see your cracks. I've poured oil into them. From this place of dependence you will rise, not by your force, but carried in the arms of the one who never asked you to be enough without me. The dry season you wandered through, the long, barren, silent stretch, is trembling under my voice. I watched you walk faithfully while the ground wouldn't yield. I heard every prayer that echoed back quiet. I saw how the silence pressed on your soul and made you wonder if you were heard. The wilderness never frightened me. It isn't punishment, it is proving ground. What looked forsaken is becoming the very place I release my flow. I don't wait for rain, I command it to spring from within ground others call dead. I'm not dependent on clouds for provision. I make streams from stones, rivers from deserts, fountains from fractures. You will not just survive here, you will thrive. The same terrain that exhausted you will now nourish you. I've spoken life into the soil, and what was dormant is breaking open with fruit. You'll notice the atmosphere shifting, connections forming without striving, hope rising where heaviness sat. It won't make natural sense because I'm doing something supernatural, making water from places that never knew rain, causing clarity to rise from confusion. You are no longer being tested, you are being refreshed. Remember, this water isn't from effort, it's from my word. My voice carries power, and when I speak to barrenness, it must obey. Even now your soul feels the shift. Your feet stand in the first ripples of a spring that won't run dry. You didn't wander for nothing. You were led here, not to be broken, but to be filled. I drew you into the wilderness to remove noise, refine dependence, and prepare you for the outpouring. Now the quiet is giving way to rushing waters. Thirst is quenched. Exhaustion is replaced with renewal. I'm not just giving you a drink, I'm making you a source. Others will come to you in their desert seasons, and what I poured into you will flow into them. You'll speak with wisdom born in silence and lead with oil pressed in lonely places. The wilderness that drained you becomes your testimony. You won't dread the desert. You will remember it as the sacred ground where my word proved faithful. As I promised, I've turned what was dry into a dwelling of rivers that will not cease. Where I speak, life follows. You've walked under ceilings too long, limitations set by voices that could not see beyond fear. They called it realistic. I call it restriction. They labeled you by patterns they survived, but I never assigned you to those patterns. I didn't call you to blend in or stay where they kept you. I've watched you contort to fit rooms too small for your spirit. Lower your voice to protect their comfort. Step aside when you were meant to lead. I never asked you to dim your fire. I asked you to carry it. Now I've shattered the ceiling over you. Not quietly, but with a crash that echoes through every room that once made you shrink. What they called too much was exactly enough for what I designed. Their limits were projections of fear, but your capacity wasn't built by fear. It was forged by fire and expanded in secret while no one clapped or watched, and you stayed faithful without a spotlight. The pressure that tried to keep you under is breaking because I said, rise. You won't push through ceilings, they're already removed. You won't beg for space, I've expanded it. Rooms that rejected you are being renovated to carry what you bear. You are not walking back in the same. You're marked, refined, and sealed with purpose. They may not know what changed, but they'll feel it. Conversations that once silenced you will shift when you speak. Environments that drained you will now draw from you, not to take, but to receive what I've entrusted you to release. Your mind is renewed, your spirit matured, your ceiling shattered. There is no lid on your influence, reach, voice, or vision. You will soar in spaces they said you weren't ready for. You will build in territories they claimed you'd never access. You will outgrow every label that boxed you in, not because you fought for a place, but because I called you out. I'm not negotiating your elevation, I'm enforcing it. The ceiling is gone, the limit's broken, and the only direction is up. As you rise, don't apologize, don't look down, don't shrink to comfort those who never believed. Keep your eyes on me. I'm not only lifting you higher, I'm giving you sight, clarity you couldn't have at a lower altitude. This next level won't feel like striving, it will feel like breathing. This is the altitude I made for you. You're done surviving limits. You are living in liberty. Welcome to unshakable expansion. We're only getting started. Realms of release are opening over your life, not because I withheld in anger, but because the timing now aligns with your readiness. The space you prayed for, the shift you sensed but couldn't define, it isn't just coming, it has arrived. I haven't simply answered your prayers, I've elevated the field where your prayers operate. You are standing in a frequency of favor that won't make sense to those who watched you struggle. They won't understand how everything moves this fast and flows this easily, how doors respond to your presence before you knock. You'll know why I tuned your life to a spiritual signal that draws favor out of invisible places. This favor isn't a reward for perfection. It's the overflow of obedience refined in suffering. You didn't chase it, you were shaped for it. You didn't beg for it, you aligned with it. Now the favor I pour isn't trickling, it's a current overtaking every area that felt delayed or dry. You will walk into environments where favor introduces you before your voice. You'll enter rooms where your name is already spoken with honor. Opportunities once distant will soften into your hands as if they were always yours, because they were sealed for this moment. This is not favor you must maintain by performance. It is favor protected by my decree. You are not climbing through human channels for access. I've brought you above them. I've seated you higher, where man's approval cannot delay what I establish. What once required years of striving will be handed over because I have spoken. I'm not giving scattered blessings, I'm giving dimensional favor, reaching beyond logic, pulling from realms you didn't know existed. Your connections are changing, your capacity stretching, your surroundings being rewritten to reflect my favor. This isn't temporary momentum. It is a new atmosphere, where answers appear before you finish the question, help arrives before you know you need it, and divine intersections pull you into assignments that multiply without burdening your soul. You are clothed in recognition, not for ego, but for purpose. Your favor is strategic, the visible evidence that I'm releasing through you something weighty, generational, and eternal. Now that this dimension has opened, you will not return to the old. Systems that resisted you no longer have jurisdiction. Gatekeepers have been overruled. Delay has been vetoed. Favor has taken the lead. Walk softly but with authority. Speak humbly but with confidence. This is holy ground now, and where favor flows, nothing stays the same. The blur around your understanding, the haze that kept clarity just out of reach, was not punishment, but protection. I let you walk with limited visibility, so your steps would stay dependent on my voice. I guarded what you couldn't yet carry, but now I'm lifting the last veil, tearing down the filter that blurred what I was doing. The fog is clearing, not by your effort, but by my decree. You will see with spiritual precision, not only where you are, but why the path had to unfold this way. What looked like scattered fragments will form a blueprint. I'm illuminating threads that seem disconnected, and suddenly your story will make sense beyond explanation. It will carry revelation. You will not only believe because you trust, you will believe because you see. I'm not giving surface sight, I'm giving vision with weight. Vision that discerns motives before words are spoken, identifies assignments wrapped in disguise, recognizes timing by alignment, not logic. This sight doesn't come from study, but surrender. You have surrendered long enough, and now your eyes will adjust to the brightness of what I prepared. You'll see people differently. Not through pain's lens, but through a healed perspective. You'll recognize doors that looked ordinary as portals of purpose. I'm not only showing you what's in front of you, but what's behind it, beneath it, and beyond it. You will walk with an awareness that disrupts confusion without speaking. What once made you second guess will affirm who you are, because you will no longer doubt what I show you. The veil was never meant to stay. It trained your ears before I unlocked your eyes. Now, with both sharpened, you are equipped to navigate spaces that would have crushed you before. Don't be surprised if things you tolerated start to irritate you. Vision changes what you accept. You'll stop entertaining distractions wearing the mask of destiny. You'll stop chasing the familiar and embrace wholly unfamiliar. I broke the veil not to overwhelm, but to empower, to show how much I've invested in your future. You'll sense how close everything is, how orchestrated every delay was, how intentional even heartbreak became in my hands. This unveiling isn't temporary, it's a permanent shift. Your days of guessing are over. Your season of squinting through fog is done. You'll wake with awareness, walk with discernment, and war with accuracy. This is not just about knowing, it's about seeing me in new ways. And once you see me like this, you will never see yourself the same. The veil is gone. Let your eyes adjust. This is your new vision. You've been speaking, but not always from the depth of who I made you. Too long, your words were filtered through rejection, dulled by disappointment, and hesitant from prolonged silence. I never designed your voice to echo fear. I made it to release truth that shakes systems. I didn't give you language to survive. I gave you sound to shift. Now I'm bringing you back to the frequency of your original design, the vibration that makes hell tremble and atmospheres bow. You will no longer borrow boldness from external approval. You will speak with conviction rooted in my spirit, not their praise. This restoration isn't about volume, it's about resonance. I'm tuning your inner world so what comes out of your mouth matches what heaven hears over you. Every syllable will carry weight, every phrase will drip with anointing forged in the private furnace. Your voice is not random, it is an instrument shaped for breakthrough. I am fine-tuning it, cleansing echoes of the past, tones shaped by trauma, inflections rooted in insecurity. I am reclaiming the voice you had before they silenced or shamed you, before you second-guessed the fire on your tongue. This time when you speak, walls won't just shake, they will fall. Not because you shout louder, but because I back your words. Your voice is aligning with heaven's cadence. What felt stuck in your throat will flow. Prayer and strategy, intercession and instruction. You won't just speak to worship, you'll speak to build. You'll declare blueprints, announce direction, affirm identity, and dismantle lies with truth laced in my authority. This restored voice will not just change rooms, it will change people. It will call destiny out of those bound by delay, reach hearts afraid to hope, and carry the fragrance of where you've been with me. No one who survived what you survived can speak empty words. I am restoring your voice, not merely so you can express yourself, but so you can echo my heartbeat on earth. You will not only pray differently, you will prophesy from a place you've never known. You will speak and see shifts immediately, not performance, but presence released through language. Every place that tried to steal your sound, I am redeeming. Every season that muted you, I am reversing. You will not live beneath your volume any longer. This is not noise, this is awakening. Your sound, the one I placed in you before words, shaped in the silence of suffering, the one the enemy tried to smother with subtle warfare and unspoken wounds. I'm calling it back. It will rise with such power that those who ignored your whisper will turn at your declaration. When I restore a voice, I don't return it quietly. I crown it with fire. Your sound is returning, full, whole, unstoppable. Speak, not as you were, but as I've reawakened you to be. Storms passed close, disasters circled, pressure hovered, and you felt their breath. But they didn't break you because I did not permit it. You thought it was luck. It was me, shielding you in ways you couldn't see. I built invisible armor around your life. While others trembled under the same weight, you were marked by mercy that cannot be earned. What brought down stronger people did not take you because I wrote exemption over your name. This isn't favoritism, it's covenant. Covering that doesn't just repel evil, but renders it powerless near you. You wondered why breakdown didn't reach you, why waves hit others and stopped short of your door. Now you know. I wrapped you in supernatural insulation, not to isolate you from growth, but to protect what I planted from contamination. I reserved your life for impact that must remain pure. This isn't ordinary protection. It is consecrated immunity, divine defense that keeps your steps untouched even through fire. The heat may have licked your ankles, but it couldn't enter your bones. Sorrow brushed your shoulder, but didn't settle in your soul. Chaos tried to make agreements with your atmosphere. I canceled them. From here on, you'll notice how things that once drained you lose their grip, how people who manipulated your peace can't find your vulnerability, how attacks that used to trigger reactions collapse before they complete their approach. Not because you're numb, but because I have made you immune. Immune to fear dressed as urgency, immune to lies wrapped in flattery, immune to distractions pretending to be opportunity. I have sanctified your spirit to recognize threat before it manifests and to step aside before it damages. Your discernment is now a barrier. Your purity is a shield. Your quiet obedience is a fortress. You aren't hoping things don't fall apart. You are walking with certainty that nothing touches what I've sealed. Even consequences meant to catch you have been intercepted, not by ignorance, but by intercession. I stood between what chased you and said, no further. Your assignment cannot be compromised. I've sent angels, not just to observe, but to engage, to block what was plotted and disarm what was planned. You will sleep differently, speak differently. You will stop planning for disaster and start planning from peace. What traumatized others will testify through you, because I am using your immunity not as escape, but as evidence. Evidence that I still preserve, still distinguish, still raise up those who dare to say yes when it costs them everything. So stop bracing for what isn't coming. Stop preparing for a storm I already dismissed. The plague won't touch your tent. The famine won't empty your table. A curse won't cling to your garments. You are surrounded, not lightly, not briefly, completely. This immunity will not fade. It will follow you through valleys and platforms, noise and stillness, abundance and uncertainty. I didn't seal you for a season. I sealed you for a legacy that must arrive whole. Keep walking and watch the weapons fall before they form. Amen.